All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 6 of the On Fire podcast. We're recording this Saturday night. We've got camera set up, so you better go watch this on the YouTube after. I'm here with Blake,
How's it going?
and it's Saturday night, baby. Hockey night in Canada night. And we're gonna talk about the players and teams that have been on fire this week in the NHL. How hyped are you for tonight, Blake?
I'm just ecstatic about the whole show, man.
Just sound ecstatic, and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. We got so much to talk about this week. So excited.
Biggest episode yet, eh?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. So like lengthwise, it'll probably be the biggest one. So, all right. So Blake, why don't you start with your first one there?
My first is the Nashville Predators, who have somewhat turned their season around, eh? Like, they were pretty mediocre at the beginning, and now they've turned around, and now they got the eyes on them. Yossi's been playing great as a defenseman with 7 points in 4 games. It's about what you'd expect from a captain. Saros, he's just like coming out and putting on a Vezina performance with a .971 save percentage in his in all of his games, and I think that they're just absolutely killing it right now.
Yeah, no, they're really good for sure. I feel like Matt Duchene also was like a lot of people were saying he had a bit of a fall from grace to start the season, and I kind of like he used to be just really good, a really fast player and everything, and he wasn't looking like he was going to be that player. But he really proved everybody wrong, and they're on the up and coming now. So they got Saros coming up, and Yaroslav Halak after Saros is done, and Ritter to back him up. Really good goaltending look there. So I would say my number one is Trevor Zegras. Shout out to the boy Oscar Blair from last episode. This man is so horny for Trevor Zegras. It's unreal. And
always talking about him.
He's always talking about Trevor Zegras. He's chasing his card and Hut. He just loves Trevor Zegras, and how can we not talk about him with that amazing goal from him and Sonny Milano? Like, that's incredible, man.
And we got Torts just trashing on it, saying it's not good for the game.
Yeah, whatever.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, Torts, shut your yap.
You kidding me?
What he should do is just shut up, is what Torts should do. That's what he should do. I think that's kind of, like, he says, I'm not trying to, like, look like a fool here. Okay, well, you did look like a fool, Torts.
You kidding me?
You look like a fool. You did look like a fool. It's a steaming hot take. Nobody else thinks it's bad for the game. And he's like, back in the 90s, you get your head taken off. Yeah, you get your head taken off. You do anything in the 90s. Doesn't matter if you're pulling the Michigan or not. You're getting your head taken off.
You've never seen players trash it like that either.
People still get their head taken off when they do it today. Like, they still get freaking creamed because the players now know where they're going. They're going next to the post, and it's very easy to predict that. So, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Like I said, he needs to shut his yap, and he needs to, maybe just retire after this point. Like, he can't coach without players hating him. He can't be on TSN without people hating him.
Always causing problems.
He's just a problem. All right, Blake, what's your number 2 there?
My number 2 is the Colorado Avalanche. And in an earlier episode, we were talking about how disappointing they were, and just how underperforming all of their stars were. And they've managed to turn it around. I don't know how's McKinnon doing. He's doing better.
He got fucked up again.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that, A little later.
Yeah.
They've got 3 wins this week, and they weren't even close. They were close, but they've scored at least 7 goals in all 3 games this week.
Yeah.
And their offense is just lighting it up right now. And yeah, they're just the offense is popping off right now. And they're winning.
Nazem Kadri, like we mentioned in a previous episode, is just really fitting in when McKinnon's not there. And it was good to have McKinnon back, and like the fact that he only has like 2 or 3 goals on the season just really shows you how much he's been injured. And Jacob Trouba obviously putting him back on the stretcher there. Good to see the boys doing good again. I'm sure Colton's very happy about that one. Shout out to the boy Colton, just name dropping everybody this episode. What do you do? My number 2 is, again, shout out the boy Oscar Blair. We got Elias Patterson. Elias Patterson.
Oscar's got a lot to say about Elias
Oh,
Patterson.
we already know how much he loves him and how great Elias Patterson is at hockey and just how much he's lived up to the expectations that the Vancouver Canucks and the entire NHL have set for him, and how much he's worth every cent they're paying him, and how bright his future is. And all right, I'll stop being sarcastic for a little bit. And he, like, I don't know, he had a really good goal. Like, he pulled the Forsberg, and I'll give him a little bit of credit, but credit where credit is due. Matthew Tkachuk has pulled that off, and also pulled off a few other highlight goals. Pulled off a highlight pass, and but we're not talking about Matthew Tkachuk, okay? Like, he may be doing a little bit better than Elias Patterson, but hey, Vancouver needs to celebrate the W's that they get, because it's not a lot.
I can't understand these players that light it up in their rookie season at their youngest and then fall off almost immediately after. This guy's like 23 years old, and now he's already looking like he's just gonna be traded within the next season.
I don't know what it was. Like, is it the team around him? Is it his moves aren't working anymore? Like, I feel like I'm just not seeing him try as many moves anymore. Like, I don't know what it is, but maybe someone who watches a little bit more of the Vancouver games, if you can find anyone who watches a full game anymore, will be able to tell me. We'll get to Oscar Blair, and we'll get back with you. Blake, your third and final of this segment.
Kyle Connor, on a pretty underperforming Winnipeg Jets team. He's got 8 points in his last 5 games. He's top 10 in scoring. He's seventh maybe.
He was last year too. Like, he was in that on the top end of the league, and every year I feel like he's kind of making this a trend, and he's a big part of why Winnipeg's a force. Like, you've got Pierre-Luc Dubois and Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler who go on like little stints, but Kyle Connor's just that guy that you can rely on. Who to end up in the top 10 at the end of the season.
Yeah, just despite the Jets underperforming so brutally, like just not living up to expectation, he's been an absolute weapon offensively, and he's just a bright spot that the Jets fans can look to just to be proud of.
Yeah.
And yeah,
for sure.
That's my third pick there.
All right. My third and final of this week, I want to talk about 2 players in particular. Dalla Bill Kirill, as they call him down in Minnesota.
That's my
Call like Minnesota. Call like Minnesota.
Fantasy steal.
Should I see how many people I can name drop this episode? But anyways, Dalla Bill Kirill, that guy he's insane, and he's such a great energy for hockey. And let me tell you, boy, did Minnesota need that kickstart, man. Their team has been so mediocre and so boring for years and years. Every single year until last year and this year, I just forgot they were a team in the NHL. I shit you not. I just couldn't remember that they were a team anytime I thought about the NHL.
It doesn't happen a whole lot, but I'm like genuinely so happy for that team that they now have a star that we could just look and be just like, hey, the Minnesota game's on. We get to see them like play well or something.
We actually get to see them in the highlight reels. When does that happen? And
doesn't happen.
He literally might have been the best player in November, like besides Leon Draisaitl. Like, we're not counting that because he's just a god. Same with McDavid, but for a player on a team like that with not too many like all-stars around him, just a good overall team around him, he did so good in November. I had some really like outdated stats, so I got rid of them, but they were on a really good win streak there, and he had like 11 points in like 5 games or something, which is just it's unreal to see someone put that up, and it's really good for Minnesota. I also wanted to talk about Alexander Ovechkin once again, because just the fact that we talked about how we might see a 50-50 this season, but now we're talking about how we might see an 800 goal scorer in our lifetime. Alexander Ovechkin just hit 750 goals, 20 this season, and he may not hit it this season, but
I think he's gonna break the record.
We've only seen 2 800 goal scorers ever. One was Gordie Howe, which was so long ago, and then Wayne Gretzky. And the fact that it's 99% gonna happen with Ovechkin, something that I definitely want to see. You know,
that's gonna be special when that happens.
For sure.
No one will stop talking about it for a while.
It's gonna be the biggest thing that we've seen in probably like sports history. You know, for us, like the most monumental thing. Yeah, like just sure. like when Ovi won the cup. That's like my best memory as a hockey fan. Like I'm a Flames fan, but still Ovi winning the cup was just the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
so.
I remember when he hoisted that thing. Just everyone was just so happy for him. There's no way you could just sit there and just be like, oh, whatever. No, everyone was just like, everyone ass off the chair and just look at him fucking raising the cup, man.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna move on to the next segment here. This week we're gonna talk about some suspensions because y'all been naughty. Y'all been not nice, and I don't like it. Okay, we're going to talk about it. Conor McDavid with his questionable hit. All right, you dirty Oilers, you nasties, whatever.
It's not the first time Conor's done shit
bunch like of that, fucking goons out there in Edmonton, I tell you. Fucking Conor McDavid. And, like, honestly, I'm not too mad at the hit, honestly. Like, whatever, you give him boarding, I'm not against it. But the thing that really got me, Blake, I'm looking at comments on Instagram posts about this goal. And it says, Tom Wilson would get suspended for this. Like, why are people complaining about that? Like, they're not wrong, but are you saying that he shouldn't? Because Tom Wilson is the dirtiest player I've probably ever seen in my life. And he goes out there with the intent to injure. And you guys act like he shouldn't get suspended for the things he gets suspended for. You're like, oh, well, Tom Wilson would get suspended for this. Yeah.
But every time he's gotten suspended...
Because he's a repeat offender. Yeah. He should get suspended for that because he needs to be taught a lesson. Conor McDavid may not get suspended for something. Johnny Gaudreau may not get suspended for the same thing that Tom Wilson would get suspended for. It's because they're not repeat offenders. You have to understand that carries more weight. You have to understand that Tom Wilson's a goon. You have to understand all this stuff, and you guys just aren't thinking about it. You're a bunch of idiots. Go hang out with the guys in Edmonton. Go do crack outside the Rogers Arena. All
Simple.
Right? Simple, done. We're not talking about it anymore. PK Subban, that guy. We were talking about Matt Duchene being a fall from grace. I ain't never seen a bigger fall from grace. This, like,
his first year in New Jersey, he goes from being in the Cup final with Nashville, maybe a year later getting traded, and then does nothing. Nothing. He fell off completely. The last time the league, anyone who watches hockey spoke about him was when he got traded. Yeah, he got traded, and no one talked about him again until he was on that commercial. This is where we belong.
It's like, PK, do you really belong in the NHL? Like, it's not a racist thing. It's just like you're saying you belong in the NHL. It's like, do you though? Because you're kind of bad, and you kind of don't do anything except slew foot people. And it's blatantly intentional. And the fact that player safety has not called him on one is pretty disgusting. We're talking about how Tom Wilson should get suspended for being a repeat offender. I count at least 4 or 5 slew foots this year. Intentional, by the way, every single one. And that's one of the most dangerous things you can do in hockey, besides butt ending, or being Robert Bertuzzi Todd Bertuzzi.
From the amount of times that he's actually done the slew foot, that he should
be called PK Subban.
But someone, there's a good chance someone should be injured from it. I don't know how no one's injured.
Yeah, from it. It's so dangerous, man. The fact that you can just nail the back of your head on the ice, it's just. And I don't know why he does it. It's not provoked. People aren't doing anything to him.
Are they just waiting until he injures someone to actually give him an actual good punishment?
That's probably what it's going to take with this league and their lack of punishment. And speaking about injuring people, how can we talk about injuring people without talking about Jacob Trouba? The man who put Jujhar Khaira on his ass and knocked him out.
He's been catching some heads.
Yeah, the man who freaking just drops Nathan McKinnon, then proceeds to drop the mitts with Gabriel Landeskog in response. That is, this guy, it's not that his hits are dirty. They're not. The hit on Jujhar Khaira, I won't say is dirty. If you think it's dirty, fine. But it wasn't dirty. It's just he injures people so much. Yeah. And it's not fun. It's not in a fun way. And, I don't think injuring people has ever been in a fun way. It's just when Dustin Byfuglien used to rock people, it was fun. It was so cool. But when Jacob Trouba plays people out like this, and he's putting Nathan McKinnon out, who just got back from an injury, I'm not enjoying it. I'm kind of like this guy shouldn't really like I don't have a reason to suspend him, so I can't. But it's like I don't really want to see that. Honestly, it's kind of just disappointing, and I can't do anything about it. Right?
Yeah, it just seems like he's just like going after as many guys as he can right now.
Yeah.
Someone's shitting his oatmeal in the morning, and he's just all pissed off.
Pissed in his cornflakes, and yeah, he's just I don't know. He's definitely fallen in my rankings. Like I thought Trouba was really good for like when he was on Winnipeg. I thought he was just like a good defenseman and everything. I never saw him as this player like he is now until this year. It's kind of really changed my perspective on him.
It makes you wonder if the actual league will start to give severe punishments, because $5,000 is not a punishment.
They never will, honestly. Like it's like, let's be real here. The NHL's a joke. They won't give anybody real punishments.
Well, $5,000 is not a punishment at this point.
It's not. It's probably what Jacob Trouba walked into the arena within his pocket. Like he probably had that on his person plus $5,000 to spare in case he did it twice. You know, like I don't know.
I think that the more offenses players make is just like the more longer suspensions they get. Like Tom Wilson
got half a season. Why don't we do that anymore? Like Tom Wilson deserved it. How come like all these people who are repeat offenders or doing things that are so dangerous in our league aren't getting half a season?
Since his half a season, has he gotten suspended again?
I think yeah, but not long time. Like it's been max a game or 3.
Well, if he keeps getting suspended, it should be longer every time.
Exactly.
That's what makes players I think that's what would make them change.
Like he was obviously pissed when he had to sit half a season. He tried to appeal it and everything, and at the end they did. But it's I don't know, man. He totally deserved it. I don't know. He just didn't learn his lesson. He's so dirty.
There's so much to say about the player safety and all the punishment stuff. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah. So now we're gonna move on to like we talked about last week, gone forever. Just like Aaron Hernandez. This week we're obviously gonna talk about the shit show going on in Vancouver, which is becoming less of a shit show because they're finally listening to the chants that are going on in their arena, that people are screaming fire Benning, and they finally did. Good for them. Yeah, and it only took a full arena of probably 30% capacity of fans shouting fire Benning at the end of a game, and then someone throwing their jersey on the ice for you to fire the GM and fire the coach. And I could not be happier about that coach firing because they brought back Barbecue Bruce. That guy is the best. I fucking love Barbecue Bruce because just real quick, just him standing up oh fuck, that is really honestly just kind of sums up why I love that guy. He may not have ever been good with the Minnesota Wild, but I love that guy, man.
Well, he's probably an upgrade from their last coach. Who was their last coach?
Travis Green.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely an upgrade for sure. I'm glad. And they won the first game with him and everything. Whereas with Travis Green, they couldn't even do a practice. It's a clear difference and definitely something they needed.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll make a whole big difference with the team as a whole this season, but I think it just gives a lot of Vancouver fans some hope for the future.
Well, the thing is,
they probably didn't have it before.
There's 70 games left in the season. Or no, not 70. Sorry, 60 games left in the season. Almost 50. I think that's plenty of time to this actually make an impact on the team this season, though, because they may be at the bottom right now. 50 games versus Travis Green's 20. That's quite a bit to turn around. And if Barbecue Bruce goes .500 for the rest of the games, then they'll end up with a 25 more wins than they probably would have had with fucking Travis Green.
I agree with that.
We're only a quarter through the season, so I think there's lots of hockey to still be played under Barbecue Bruce, and that could be a really big change. And who knows, maybe they even push for a wild card spot. And he's been in the playoffs before, so he knows what he's doing.
I understand that. I'm pretty skeptical about it, but
yeah.
I see that. Jack Adams for Barbecue Bruce?
As long as it comes with a big old rack of ribs, I'm sure he'd be all for it, as long as they don't make him stand up out of his chair. Also, this is a joke that they're trying to hire Mark Bergevin right now. Like that, I've heard about that, and I don't even want to talk about that. I just wanted to bring it up because why? What are you doing?
After drafting Logan Mailloux, his time should be done.
Yeah, he should never have a job again.
No.
Flyers also fired their head coach, which I'll be honest, I thought we were only going to see the only coaching or management change we were going to see before the end of the year. I was banking on it being Vancouver, but I was surprised that the Flyers also threw their hat in the ring and fired their coach.
It was good that they did, though. I think at the time they were on an 8-game losing streak, eh?
Yeah, like they've got a lot of good players now, like Atkinson and everything, and obviously Carter Hart could use some better coaching. Like it doesn't look like he's being developed properly, and he had a good year, and they're just kind of relying on him now. I think a change was needed for sure. Like you said, they were on a big losing streak, and what do you do? I mean, someone's gonna lose, and I would hope it would be the team with the worst jerseys in the league, the Philadelphia Flyers. So, yeah. Let's see here. I want to talk about Ben Bishop. It's pretty sad, honestly. Bye Bishop, to see him go. Because when he was in the league, right before he got his knee surgery and Dallas Stars went to the final without him, he was one of the best goalies in the league. He's a 3-time Vezina finalist, and his numbers were insane when he was in the league. And let me tell you, every time we played against him, the Calgary Flames, I hated the guy. Because you could not get pucks past him. Could just be because the Calgary Flames are bad. But no, he's actually a really good goalie. It's sad to see him go because, like that's like if Vasilevsky got a career-ending injury right now.
It's way too soon.
Too soon, man. He had so much more good hockey to play. Dallas got lucky having Hudobin to step up. A lot of teams would have been a very bad situation. It just sucks to see that. All right, Blake. I'm gonna hit you with a question here. These are way too early trophy predictions. Who do you think is gonna win the Hart, Calder, Vezina, and Norris?
The Hart's definitely Draisaitl.
Mm-hmm.
Calder, Vezina, Norris. Calder. I haven't thought about the Calder yet. Maybe Zegras. I didn't see it at first this season. That's why I traded him in my fantasy pool.
Yeah.
But
Oscar was happy to take him.
Yeah, Oscar's pretty confident, and I'm starting to gain confidence that he'll probably win the Calder this year.
Mm-hmm.
Vezina, probably Campbell. I don't know. He's doing really well for Toronto right now. And, yeah. The Norris, Fox again.
Yeah. I would say for the Hart, I got Draisaitl easy. For the Calder, I would say probably someone like Lucas Raymond right now who's lighting it up. Even though we would like to see Trevor Zegras, I just have a feeling that if it came down to it right now, Lucas Raymond would probably go there. I think Vezina right now is pretty hands down Markstrom. I think Campbell's definitely a nominee, and I think the other nominee would be maybe Freddie Anderson. I don't know. He's like the Canes aren't obviously the 9-0 team they were. I think for the Norris, I'd say Adam Fox as well. He's been having a really good year. People are saying Tony DeAngelo, that guy's a cancer. He shouldn't ever be given a reward, period. Definitely not the Norris. Obviously Cale Makar and all these other guys, but it's just Adam Fox is just having such a good year. Usually they don't, like, when do we ever see someone get a back-to-back Norris? It's usually someone new every year. So it would be interesting to see that.
Yeah. You mentioning Carolina's not the 9-0 team. That really puts a damper on what I was saying, that they're so consistent, eh?
Who's that?
In an earlier
Carolina,
episode.
Yeah. No, it's hard to tell with those guys, especially with such a shaken up, getting ready to Dougie Hamilton and their goalies and everything. It's hard to tell where they're going to be. It was hard to tell how they were going to start the season, and we'll just have to keep watching, I guess.
All right, I got a question for you now, Brandon.
We don't have time for another question. We're going to end it here at 24 minutes. So we're going to call it an episode. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Check out our Instagram, TikTok, and everything. This will be on YouTube, so you can watch us record this. We'll see you next week.
See ya, boys.
You ready?
Yeah.